I thought I understood how the loans were going to work when I started, and it's talking about the interest that's accruing every day.
Right.
So that's a little scary to look at.
At the same time that college has become more important, it's become so much more expensive and complicated than it used to be. And it is just not possible for the parents to be able to finance, a bunch of kids all at the same time. And that's where society's just got to make an investment. Come here today is because I believe that higher education, as you believe, is one of the best investments that anybody can make in their future. We're trying to make sure that across the board, more and more young people can afford to go to college, and then afterwards aren't so burdened with debt that you can't do anything else. We're going to try something new. It doesn't involve new spending or bureaucracy. It's just a simple organizing principle that I want all of us to sign on to. A declaration of values, what I'm calling a student aid bills of rights, a student aid bill of rights. And it says every student deserves access to a quality, affordable education. Every student should be able to access the resources to pay for college. Every borrower has the right to an affordable repayment plan. Every borrower has the right to quality customer service, reliable information, and fair treatment, even if they struggle to repay their loans. It's a simple set of principles that if everybody signed on to, it can focus our attention into one simple basic idea, which is make sure that when you're doing the right thing, that your society has got your back. Thank you, everybody. God bless you. Thank you, Georgia. Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Hey, you got a crew here?
We do. We have great students right here.
How are you? Gabriel? All right. Nice to see you, man. Nice to see you. Hi, how are you?
I'm Diego Myrick.
Good to see you.
Hey, how you doing?
What's your name?
Antoine Sanders.
Good to see you, Antoine.
All right, good to see
All
you
right.
too.
Hi, Laura.
Hey, Laura.
Nice to meet you.
Good to see you. So how's it going, everybody?
It's going all right.
Pretty well.
So today I have been focused on college affordability, which is I assume is on everybody's minds.
Yeah.
Didn't you just pay off your loans in 2004?
Yeah, 2000. Basically, the year I was elected to Senate, the year before I became a U.S. Senator, was when we finished paying off all of our loans. Combined, Michelle and my bill was higher than our mortgage, and right now student debt is actually higher than credit card debt.
There are 40 million people currently with student debt.
Yeah. So this is a massive generational challenge. There are all kinds of things that we can do, but it's going to require cooperation between the states, who have to put more money into it, the federal government, who have to think about how we can lower the debt burden and make sure it's managed better, the student and the parents, who are going to have to be better consumers. And so a lot of what we're trying to do is like know before you owe, and figure out how to, for example, graduate on time. One of the things students think about is, I'll take 5 years, I'll take fewer credits, and not thinking about the fact that if you don't if you're not out in 4 years, each semester that you're taking, that's just more debt. So that's important. And then working with the schools to partner with community colleges and even partner with high schools, because you guys are already taking some college courses, right? I read a little bit about each of your backgrounds. Give me a sense of sort of how you think about affording college. Maybe we'll start with the folks who are already in school now and how you're thinking about debt. Did you feel like you had enough information? Because I know from Michelle and my perspective, we didn't have a lot of guidance going in. We had to kind of make it up as we went along. How have things gone for you guys generally?
We were talking, Laura and I, about this earlier.
Yeah, so when I was in high school, I'm from Sarasota, Florida, and there really wasn't much guidance as far as how to prepare for college besides, take AP classes, that kind of thing.
Right.
So my senior year, I pretty much got like a game plan down.
Yeah.
I applied for about 50 scholarships my senior year, and I wrote about 70 essays. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. It was like,
That is.
it was hard to keep up good grades while doing
I
that.
can only imagine.
Yeah.
How did that turn out?
It actually turned out really well for me, but my little brother is currently going through the same thing that I went through as a senior. He's really struggling, so it probably won't be the same for him.
Yeah. Well, that was pretty enterprising of you to have that ability to go out there and find it on your own.
So I would say my situation is very similar to yours. As, unfortunately, I have a few scholarships paying my way through school right now. So
That's great.
School. So yeah.
That's why you got a smile on your face,
Yeah,
man.
definitely, yeah. So
That's outstanding.
I just want to see, I guess, me personally want to see that opportunity, I guess,
Available for everybody.
Right, available for everybody, yeah.
So how about for you?
I'm from Georgia, so I had the opportunity, if I stayed in state, to receive the Zell Miller Hope Scholarships.
Exactly. That's for high school students who keep a certain grade point average, and it's financed by the Georgia Lottery, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So my first year in college, I had a combination of student loans and the Zell Miller Scholarship. My parents have also been taking out private loans from 401k to help pay for my school. So I'm going to have some debt to pay off afterwards, for sure.
Are there other issues that you think would have helped you or that surprised you when you were going through this whole process?
I thought I understood how the loans were going to work when I started, and they said you won't have to start paying off your loans until after school. And I get emails quarterly that update me on what my loan status is, and it's talking about the interest that's accruing every day.
Right.
So that's a little scary to look at too.
Yeah. Now, Michelle spoke at your guys' school, right?
Yes, we were there.
Was she well behaved? Okay. She didn't cause a ruckus?
No.
Okay. I want to make sure. And part of her message was encouraging folks to know how to apply to schools, have a broader range of schools that they were looking at, knowing what's possible. And so you guys are just about to go through this process. How are you thinking about it?
And so honestly, I've always been that top student, so academics is easy. And I have a presidential scholarship, but with the cost of living, room and board, tuition, and extra fees, it's almost not putting a dent in the financial piece of what I need. And so it's almost like scholarships don't matter.
But also, Antoine, you were talking about, you got a great scholarship.
Yeah. So I'm the oldest of 6 children. I have younger siblings directly behind me, 1 year, 2 years. And they plan on attending college as me as well. And fortunately, I have a scholarship, and I will be attending college. But the question is, how would they be able to attend back to back in 2 year span?
Right. For families like yours, where you've got a bunch of kids, and mom who's working, maybe dad's not in the home. That's how it was for me. I had my grandparents who were helping. It is just not possible for the parents to be able to finance, a bunch of kids all at the same time.
Yes.
And that's where society's just got to make an investment. At the same time that college has become more important, it's become so much more expensive and complicated than it used to be. And for most people your parents' age, the cost, particularly of an in-state school, was pretty modest. You might have a little bit of debt, but by the time you came out, it was the kind of debt that you could pay off in a year, maybe 2 years. And that shifted. Two things happened. One was that state legislatures significantly cut back on their support for state universities and colleges. So all these things have changed that make it more challenging for all of you. And that's part of why what we've done is, first of all, cut out the banks from the student loan program so that the money's going directly to students. That left more money for Pell Grants and things like that. Now what we're doing is we're spending a lot of time working with colleges to figure out how do you keep costs down and how do you make sure students coming in know what they're going to owe. Because one of the big problems is the university will recruit and say, don't worry, you'll be fine.
You don't hear anything about it.
But you don't know what, and then in your exit interview, as you're about to leave, somebody in the financial aid office says, "Oh, by the way,
Here's your bill."
interest has been accruing. Here's how much debt you've got.
Yeah.
Here's what your monthly payment looks
Right.
like." And it's challenging. One of the things that I proposed this year was making community colleges free. For a lot of students, the community college is the pathway even to get into a four-year university. And if you can make that free, then they can transfer credits, and then the fewer classes you have to take at the four-year institution, which is more expensive, the less debt you're going to have. It may turn out that your siblings, some of them, if they don't get scholarships, may have to use the community college route first. It's still going to be a good investment for them, though. There is a difference of about $28,000 a year between the average salary of somebody who's a college grad and somebody who's not. I mean, it's a huge spread. So even if you're taking on debt, it's still going to pay off. Previous generations, they had no debt, and as a consequence, earlier on, they could start buying a home, or they could start a business, or they were just able to save money. And for my generation even, but certainly the folks coming behind me, a lot of folks, they're in their 40s and they still got loans that they're paying off, which means that, where that money could have been used for them to start a life, might have been different.
I have a question, if I'm allowed.
Of course.
America used to fund, you were mentioning as well, the states used to fund education a lot more. America used to fund education a lot more. And now we have a system where the government actually makes money off of the federal loans. How do we get back to funding education and off the money that in many cases has already been spent?
Well, a couple of things I'd say. First of all, at the state legislative level, governors and state legislators have to understand that probably the most important competitive advantage they now have is the quality of their workforce. So you are defeating yourself if you're cutting back on education spending and support for higher education.
But they used to know that. What happened?
Well, part of what happened was the no tax mentality locked in. Once you started capping revenues, at the same time as things like 3 strikes you're out, criminal laws got into place. Now you've got a huge demand for more prison cells. That money starts getting siphoned off into a different place. Healthcare costs start going, and in fairness to a lot of states, they had to figure out how to pay for Medicaid. So all those dollars start moving away from higher education, and the idea of charging tuition and putting the burden back on the user, the student, that became the path of least resistance for a lot of universities. Now you can make that up by raising taxes, but once again, it comes down to the choices that we make as a society. Now, do we think this is important enough that we want to make that investment? And I think we should. Not everybody's going to have a 4-year degree, but everybody's going to have something above what they were doing in high school, unless you're LeBron James, and or Kanye.
Does anyone have a last question for the president? Sadly, we're out of time.
I was just wanting to know what you were hoping to get from talking to students in Atlanta.
I'll be honest with you, some of it's completely selfish on my part. When I talk to you guys, I get inspired. I get excited about what the future holds, because I'm now 53. Malia's starting to look at colleges now, so I've got a little bit of perspective. And when I talk to you guys, I get inspired. I get excited about what the future holds. The world's in good hands. We got a next generation of people who are going to do great stuff, and that makes me encouraged. You guys encourage me.
Thank you.
All right.
And thank you, Mr. President, for taking the time.
I enjoyed it.
You.
You guys want to take a picture together?
Yeah.
He jumped in. Just so you can send it to Mom. Hey, Mom.
He jumped in.
Yeah. All right. Everybody say cheese. Well, cheese actually works.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Good luck to you, man.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Congratulations. I know your parents must be so proud of you.
Yeah, that's probably.